All right.
All right, hey guys. So we're here tonight doing our kids and babies and oils class. I know it's like, so confusing when we're getting started. We're so quick to put oils on ourselves and ingest oils and all the things, but when it comes to our children, we're a little nervous. We're not really sure what we should do. And as an adoptive mom, I've got some experience using oils with children who are 2 and older, but I don't really have a heck of a lot of experience with infants. And I've got my friend Amanda here, who's amazing. She is a mom of 9, just recently had her 9th child. So she's breastfeeding, just went through the birthing process. So she's got so much amazing information. So I'm going to let Amanda tell her story, and then we can get to the meat and potatoes of what we can do with babies and kids when it comes to oils. All right, Amanda, let's hear it.
Okay, so I have 9 kids. We just had our 9th one 3.5 weeks ago. Named her after Liz. Her name is Elizabeth. But anyway, we kind of started at the other end of the spectrum. Our first one, I always call her my science project baby, because I didn't know a lot of the things. I grew up in a very natural household, but when you as the mom have to start making those decisions, it's scary, and you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so we did things, the doctor said to do something, we kind of just did it because the doctor was the expert. And so probably baby number 2, we started questioning things a little bit. Baby number 3, we started looking at our diet and what we were eating. By baby number 4, we had started to eat more organic whole foods, got into homeopathy. And then baby number 5 was about 3 weeks old. I got invited to an essential oils class, and I was like, this is another tool I need in my pocket. So I got my kit, and that was 2011, and I got an essential rewards because I needed a lot more than what was in my kit, because I needed everything. So my family was well stocked and ready to go. And it kind of just turned into more, I started educating myself, and we really started changing how we were living. By no means are we perfect. We don't always make perfect choices. But what I found is being educated and informed is so important, especially as moms, because when somebody is giving us their opinion or what they think is right, it doesn't mean it's the only way to do things. So I'm just a mom sharing some things that I've learned over the years, because we've been on both ends of the spectrum. And I think that's one of the biggest things, and kind of I feel like a mission in my life, is to make sure moms out there know that there's other options and that it's up to them. God gave us a gut instinct for a reason. And when that gut instinct goes off, or we feel that in the pit of our stomach, that is God telling us to look a little deeper. And we know our kids better than a doctor, better than a nurse, better than our neighbor or our mother-in-law or whatever it is. We know our kids the best. And so it's really important that we advocate for them, and that we trust our instincts, and we educate ourselves. I can't stress that more, because I have moms ask me all the time, can I do this? Can I do that? And from my standpoint and the research that I've done, I give my opinion of how I would do things if it was my child, but I'm not their mother, and I'm not the one who can make the final decision. So a lot of people ask me why use essential oils, and it's just an easy tool to put in your toolbox. And if you ever looked into healing oils of the Bible, I've always said frankincense is one of my favorite oils, and it was good for Jesus, so it's really good for us. And the funny thing about it is, throughout history and throughout the Bible, and even before, before the Bible was written in everybody's homes, they were using oils for centuries. And it wasn't written down. Like when you tell your friend, go, use Tylenol, you assume that they're just going to go use it. And the same assumption is made when they say that they, used frankincense and myrrh. They were putting those oils on the Christ child because that's what they did at that time. And they weren't thinking 2,000 years later that we wouldn't know how to use frankincense and myrrh. Yes, that book right there is amazing. It has a ton of resources in it. So why start with essential oils? Because everything else has a larger learning curve. Essential oils are simple. You take them, you grab your bottle, you put a drop in your hand. If you're using it on a little one that has sensitive skin, you add a little bit of fatty carrier oil like coconut oil or V6 oil or olive oil, and you put it on their feet and you see how they do. It is very, very simple. And if you're using a pure oil, which is why when I first got started with oils, I ran out of lavender. I went to the grocery store and I picked up a bottle of lavender. I know, shocker. That bottle of lavender was not the same as the bottle I had at home. All oils are not created equally, and you need to know exactly what is in every single bottle of oil you're putting on, especially when you're putting them on your kids. So that is why Young Living is the only oils we use in our home. I learned very quickly that the ones I was getting, or the one I picked up at the grocery store, was not the same as what I had been using on my kids at home. It did not have the same effect. It did not smell anything like the one I had at home, nor did the consistency when I put it on my hand look anything like an essential oil had previously. So, and I'm sure some of you have heard there's a million different companies out there, and why choose this one? Because it's the only one that has their own farms. It's the only one that controls the process from seed to seal. And honestly, that is the reason we use Young Living. I know what I'm getting. If I'm using one of the kids blends on the kids, it says right on there if it has carrier oil added in with it. I don't have to guess. Whereas the other ones, you don't know what you're getting. So not that this is all about that, but it is very, very important that you realize what you're putting on your babies. I always start with very gentle oils with the little ones. From day one, we have been using frankincense. We use lavender. We use copaiba. Yes. And we use lemon. Those are hugely supportive of the immune system. We put them on the bottoms of their feet. We put it in a roll-on, so it's super easy to apply when we're doing diaper changes, we're changing clothes in the morning. That's something that goes right on their little feet. And it's just a way that we can support their immune system. We can support their emotions. Birth can be very traumatic for babies. Even in an adoptive situation, there can be a lot of emotions that go on with birth mom, with the whole process. And so it is huge for kids to learn how to properly deal with those emotions, and essential oils are an amazing way to help them process their birth, to help them get over whatever it is that they may have gone through. So when you have a baby who ends up with a rash for no reason, who ends up maybe with is really fussy or digestive issues, those are some of the things that we should be looking at right away, is like, how was their birth? Was there some emotion? Did mom go through something while she was pregnant? How can we help support that? Because one thing I've learned in dealing with emotions myself and with my kids is that babies are so easy. Kids are so easy. They want to know that they're going to be safe, that they're going to be loved, and they're going to be taken care of. So when you can put that affirmation or those positive thoughts and feelings with an essential oil and apply it to your baby, putting it on their bottoms of their feet, on their chest, right here on their third eye, while you're feeding them a bottle, nursing them or whatever, that has huge effects. And those little things that they're going through, babies aren't meant to be colicky. They're not meant to, have digestive issues. God did make them how they were supposed to be. And it's helping them get through that, whatever it may be, emotional or physical, easily by supporting their body and by supporting those emotions. Another thing, go ahead.
No, because you said a couple things that I want to speak to.
Yes.
And one is, bringing up adoption. I can briefly tell a little bit of a story with Harper, our youngest, and she was not happy when she was handed over to us. She was 23 months old and she was very unhappy. And we immediately started applying surrender to her because we just thought, well, we need her to release. Probably should have put release on her. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But what I really wanted to say is that her foster parents, being that she's from China and that the water there is full of bacteria, her foster parents were feeding her soda, particularly Pepsi. She was getting Dove chocolate bars, probably because it was a treat and it made her happy. And she was on a formula that was basically a Nestle-based vanilla formula that was very, very sugar laden. And all of these things made her very addicted to sugar and caffeine. So we got her, and she was just totally like not non-compliant with being our child right away. And so what happened was we started just oiling her a lot. And within, I would say, the first 12 hours of having her, we didn't give her those sugary snacks anymore. She wasn't getting soda. She was drinking water. She was eating, whole foods. And what happened was she broke out in prickly heat all over her entire body, from head to toe, in her scalp, on the bottoms of her feet, like everywhere. This kid was covered. And she had a low-grade fever. I figured, maybe the low-grade fever was the fact that she was that age of teething. So I was putting Copaiba inside her mouth and her gums. But what really, now looking back, what was happening is that she was detoxing from not having caffeine and sugar. So I just started putting lemon on the bottom of her feet, and I started slathering her whole body in lavender. Like, neat. I just applied it, and I'm just telling my story. I'm not saying this is what you should do with your child, but for my story, we just started like slathering her. 36 hours, she was like that. She ran a low-grade fever. The fever broke, the prickly heat was gone, and she was a different kid. And it was amazing. So it was really great. The oils helped her detox, and she probably would have gone through that detox anyway, but the oils expedited it and helped her cope and made her more comfortable, which was so amazing that we had those tools, because when we adopted Avery, we didn't have oils yet. We didn't get oils until Avery was home with us for a couple of years. So yeah, it was just so amazing. And then another thing I wanted to ask you was, I wrote it down as you were talking. I know I can't read my own writing. That's great. All right, well, I'll have to come back and ask you, because I don't remember. I don't know what this says.
Well, and lavender is an amazing oil in and of itself. I mean, lemon obviously for detoxing, but lavender is such an it's an adaptogen oil, as in it'll go into the body and work where it needs to work. So whatever her issue was at the time, it's, fever, whatever, it helps that to process. Like, I had a friend who said her daughter just was sick and not doing well, laying on the couch, and she goes, I didn't know what else to grab. Everybody says, and when in doubt, grab lavender. And so she did. She grabbed lavender, rubbed it on her spine, bottoms of the feet, and her navel. And within 30 minutes, she was up and walking around. And it fills in those holes, wherever those holes may be, and helps your body to recover. So like I said, they have been amazing, and consistency is one of the keys. Like, sometimes applying an oil once to the stomach when somebody's having a tummy issue is enough. But if it isn't, being consistent and applying it, oils go into the body very, very quickly. They go where they're needed. And so if your body's absorbing them and using them, or utilizing them, using them again in a little bit is just going to help that work a little bit quicker. So I always tell people, it's not something you apply once and walk away, but it's something you're going to apply every 20 minutes. Or I remember one time distinctively, our fifth child, who is now our middle child, and she plays every portion of a middle child, she had gotten sick after one of her siblings got sick, and she sat in the middle of the kitchen, because I had made her a roll-on for her tummy because her tummy hurt. And she sat in the middle of my kitchen rolling on the oil and crying, going, why did they get me sick? I hate throwing up. And she just sat there and literally used an entire 10 ml bottle of the tummy roll-on that day because somebody else got her sick, and she was just distraught sitting in the middle of my kitchen because she had thrown up a little bit before that. So it's just, and it's funny because it's also really nice for kids to have that control. And whether you're talking emotions, whether it's a separation thing, and you're dealing with something emotional, or whether it's something that just gives them that courage, or, the physical discomfort where they can take and apply that oil, giving them that power to self-soothe in a way, or to know, hey, I need my roll-on, mom, is also really beneficial. You're not going to hand them a bottle of Tylenol and say, dose yourself when you need it. So it's also having that tool there that they can use. And it's very empowering to them to know that they have the ability to do that. And it's really good because whether or not they physically need that oil at the time, their body is going to take and utilize from that what they need to stay well. So they don't have to
Yes.
be sick to use an oil. That oil is going to keep them above the wellness line no matter where their body is. And if it's following below that wellness line, it's just going to help bring it back.
Yeah,
So,
no, I totally agree. And like peppermint has been Harper's new favorite. It used to be copaiba for a long time. She would just go and grab it and like put it on her fingers and put it in her own mouth and like rub it. And now it's peppermint. I guess she likes the tingle. She's a wild child. But yeah, both my kids, I have to say, like we have a huge oil shelf, and when they're asking or they're emotional, I'll say, do you need an oil? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, go figure out which one you want. And I just let their intuition tell them, because I know unless it's like clove or like a really hot oil or something crazy, I just let them apply it, like put it where they want it, whether it's a bug bite or emotionally they just feel like they need something. I just let them do it because it gives them, like you said, that power. It gives them confidence. It's helping them practice to use their intuition. It's really like huge, because I'm still learning. They're going to have this tool their whole life, which is so phenomenal. Now, I do have a question for you as far as like breastfeeding moms. Can you like speak to that a little bit, and like supplements maybe they can be using and oils that they can be using that are safe?
yes. Okay, so the one oil that a lot of people will come back to is peppermint, because peppermint is known, even my husband's an organic dairy farmer, and so if they need cows to dry up, they will actually rub peppermint on their udders to get them to dry up quickly. So when you're done breastfeeding, peppermint is an amazing oil to use. But if you are a mom that struggles with breastfeeding, you definitely kind of want to avoid peppermint because it can decrease your supply. But I have a gene that allows me to produce enough milk for myself and for somebody else's baby. So I don't have to worry about that. It's not an issue for me. So I still use peppermint. I love peppermint. It's an oil that I grab frequently for like coffee breath in the morning, for increased energy when I'm feeling sluggish. I just like peppermint. It's minty and it's uplifting. So I don't avoid it. But I know for moms that need a little extra supply, basil and fennel are amazing oils. They are oils you can apply as soon as you're done pumping or breastfeeding. Apply it topically to the breast. And then you want to do it for a period of 10 days. So every time you pump or nurse, you can apply the fennel and the basil. And then depending upon how strong it is or how soon your baby nurses or you pump again, you can take, some people are very, I haven't had to use it personally, but I know moms, and some will take a baby wipe or, whatever, and wipe it off if the smell is really strong. I've also done it in roll-ons for moms where I put them in there pretty heavily. I use a lot of the oil, like 25, 30 drops in a roll-on of each one just to apply, and then do that for a period of 10 days. And then you want to take a break just so your body can build up. I also like to make sure that you're doing like master formula. Ningxia Red is huge. When you are pregnant, when you are breastfeeding, that is, yes, Ningxia Red. Get all the Ningxia in there because it is really good for your energy levels, but it's also really good for your milk supply. It's really good for your placenta. Fun fact, I have had since our fifth baby, she was 3 weeks old. She was our last hospital baby. The last 4 have been born at home with a midwife. And my midwife always comments how beautiful my placentas look. And so it's funny because this last time she's like, seriously, and I did drink a lot of Ningxia Red. Like, we have become more and more Ningxia Red family over here as we've gotten into using Young Living. And she looked at my placenta and she was like, oh my gosh, this placenta is beautiful. And I was 42 weeks and 4 days. And a lot of people who are not as natural minded, I remember I was like 42 weeks with our first home birth baby, and I was being told by a family friend that my placenta could be disintegrating and killing my baby. Whatever. Anyway, so she looked at it. She's like, this is huge. Like, seriously, I want to take a picture of it. So she went and took a picture of it. She's like, most placentas are a pound. My placenta was 2 pounds and 6 ounces. I had a huge placenta. So anyway, Ningxia Red is amazing for your placenta. It's amazing for your baby. It's amazing for your milk supply. I also like to tell people, like the pure protein is a really good thing to add to your, like I'll make little energy bites that have oats in it, which is good for your supply, peanut butter just for the protein. And then you can put the pure protein in there to have a little extra protein and do things like fenway Greek. You can do brewer's yeast. That's what I was trying to think of. Put a little bit of brewer's yeast in there. There's lots of recipes out there. If you're looking for a good one, just look at lactation cookies or lactation energy bites. But things like that help increase your supply as well. So, and they're really the only oil you ever want to somewhat possibly avoid is peppermint, because it can decrease your supply, especially if you're going to, I've never used peppermint topically on my breast, but if you would do it that way, it definitely would decrease your supply. Or like I said, when you're going to that weaning point, peppermint is a good one to use topically for that. So, yeah.
And the pure protein you're talking about is our protein powder, Young Living's protein powder, pure protein, and there's the chocolate.
And chocolate, yep.
And they're both so delicious.
They're really good, and it's really good actually for just new moms, because a lot of times we forget to eat. I do that a lot. And so I will do like peanut butter and same type of thing. I'll do peanut butter and oats with the pure protein. I can just do it with water and a banana, and it makes a really good smoothie. Has a lot of flavor to it. Plus I'm getting lots of nutrients so that I have better milk for a baby, and like I'm getting my energy needs met as well. So.
I love to add baby spinach too, just to FYI.
Yep, add your green, I was going to say, you can add and hide chia seeds in there. You can, flaxseed if you need a little extra fiber in your diet, especially after having babies. Sometimes the bowels aren't moving quite where you need them to. So adding things like that, adding ICP, you can't even taste that stuff in your smoothie. So adding all the little things, but like supplements that I make sure that I'm taking are my probiotics. So I do Life 9. I do Super B is huge when you're pregnant. It is huge after you're pregnant. Your body still needs that support. And there's women in general, we need our Super Bs. I do lots of vitamin C so that my immune system is supported as well as babies. I do the Master Formula. And then I'm always taking an enzyme, because I just want to make sure my guts are working properly. And so the enzymes help with breaking down the food. And I just
right. And all that's going to baby too, because, if you're breastfeeding, your baby's getting all those nutrients and those supplements as well, which is so amazing. Definitely enzymes are huge. Life 9 is huge. Gut health is like everything, no matter what, like you said, the birthing process itself is traumatic. And even if it's just emotional trauma, it still affects us.
Yeah.
And our whole system, we really need to be supplementing, and we're just not getting what we can get from our food supply. We want our
sulfurzyme. Sulfurzyme is one I do not go up without. Alkaline when I'm pregnant too, and I've been doing that afterwards just to keep my pH levels. But those are two other ones that have made a big difference. I had some birth issues this time around, and so I've definitely been sulfurzyme is huge. I had a separation of the pubic bone, our pubic muscle, and so to support the MSM is huge at supporting your muscles. And so sulfurzyme, I have been upping that. I was doing it before I had her, but I'm doing it now after. Alkaline is a big one because I want to make sure my body is well stabilized. And then I've actually been doing amino-wise just because it's really good for your muscle. And I just want to make sure everything heals properly in that area of my body, because that is huge. You can't walk, you can't do a lot of things when you
and even like you said, even when you don't go through, a little bit extra trauma that isn't typical, you're still healing, and all those things are going to help you heal so much faster. And when you have a new little one, you don't want to be feeling like you're in pain or laying around.
Yeah.
So yeah, all those things are great. Amazing, amazing information, Amanda. Are there any last words of wisdom for our moms or?
Just like application wise, you can apply oils, especially when you're starting with little people. I always start on the bottoms of your feet just because their skin can be a little bit more sensitive. If I'm doing it, like I said, I tend to do spine, feet, and the navel are like my 3 go-to areas, but always start with your comfort level, be informed. You're clearly not going to be putting straight up oregano on your baby. Probably wouldn't be putting straight up oregano on your 3-year-old. But you
Or me.
or yourself. But you can add that, like add a drop of oregano to an immune support roll on. I mean, that's something I do for my 2, 3, 4 year old. When I'm doing it for my little one, I'm doing, lavender, lemon, frankincense, super gentle oils, copa eva, putting those in a roll on, putting it on the bottoms of their feet. And that is like a daily thing that I do every single morning just to keep their body healthy. I even like have just like little chest rubs ready to go. Same thing, using the super gentle oils, the ones you're comfortable with. Don't get the crazy, like I said, the oregano or things out there that that are a little bit hot, spicier. I don't know how you want to call it, but like I said, it's very easy. Always start with your comfort level. Know what you're using. I would not recommend using oils from a grocery store. I just wouldn't, because oils are very potent. And even if that bottle of oil from the grocery store has essential oils in it, they go into your body very, very quickly. So how they were harvested, if they had chemicals in them, or if they are put in with a carrier oil that has chemicals in it, those oils are also, and chemicals are also going into your body's or your baby's body very, very quickly as well. So it is very important that you know what you're using. So when we use our
And
carrier oils.
you know what, Amanda, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but another thing is too, even if the carrier oil is organic and the essential oils considered organic,
Yep.
the problem is that if they're not harvested at the right time and if they're not distilled in the right way, they're really a waste of money. Like, so even if they're not harmful to you, you're throwing your money away because they're not going to be effective.
Correct. So, I mean, like I said, it's a gamut of things, but I've just heard a lot of people like, well, I get them at the grocery store. And like I said, if you don't know how it was done and you don't know the process and you don't know what it's with, and there's just so many things like it, I wouldn't use them on my babies. So that's just something I like to
I
tell
won't use
people,
them
be
on myself.
educated. Yeah, or yourself. But it's just, I always think about
Let alone your little one.
yeah. So like I said, it's not as complicated as a lot of people make it. Start slow. You start using a drop, see how it works for your family. But they are an amazing tool to have in your tool chest. So it's been a blessing to us. We've been using them for 9 years almost here, and we use them every single day in every way you possibly could think. We're using them. So yeah.
That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was such amazing information. And definitely, I mean, no matter what group this video winds up in, we'll have it both in both of our member groups. If you guys have questions, even if it's for me or for Amanda, just drop it in there and we'll make sure that we get the question out to each other and we can help you out and answer whatever it is.
Yep.
No, it's going to stop rambling. Okay.
Yeah, we've got it. There you go. Have a good night.